Hello everybody, welcome back to a new Pokemon BGC video. Today we've got another basic guide. I wanted to do more of these, but I just haven't really found the time for it. But today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite Series 6 picks in Gengar. So, Gengar, Series 6 has been out for about 2 weeks now, and Gengar is probably one of my favorite sleeper Pokemon. I've noticed it on a decent amount of streamers teams when I tune in, they have a Gengar there. So I thought in today's video would quickly go over what makes it such a good pick in this series, and how to use it, what movesets to go, EVs, items, so on, in a real basic manner so it's easy to understand. If you do like this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment down below on a Pokemon you'd like me to do a guide on next, and I'll give it my best go. But anyway guys, without further ado, let's get into why Gengar is good in Series 6. One of the main things that makes Gengar really good in Series 6 is actually its typing. Ghost Poison is a type that benefits very heavily off the Series 6 ban list, especially with things like Dragapult gone, Excadrill gone, and Tyranitar gone. Gengar has a lot easier time staying on the field. And, in most cases, you'll see one of those three Pokemon on a team in Series 5 in most cases. And also, Grassy Glide was still doing a good amount of damage to Gengar as well. So, now that those Pokemon are gone, the Ghost Poison type's actually really good. And there's a lot more Fairy types running around as well, such as Sylveon and Primarina, and and Grimmsnarl as well, sorry. And those Pokemon don't really like taking a Sludge Bomb to the face. Granted, they all, minus Grimmsnarl, have pretty good special defense, but still does a good amount of damage. And especially when you're using Gengar as more of a supportive mon this series, it's really cool to see that Sludge Bomb do so much damage. It also hits things like Clefairy, Comfey, and Serena, all very popular Pokemon at the moment. So it's always just a really good move to have. And with it being a ghost type, it's immune to Fake Out, which isn't as common with Incineroar gone, but it is still very, very reliable to have. To be immune to Fake Out is always a good thing. Reason number 2 is speed control. Gengar actually has a few speed control options. It has Icy Wind, which lowers the opponent's speed stage by 1, and it hits both Pokemon, like the opponent's field. So this is really helpful when you're playing with things that have like 100 base tier speed, or even like a bit lower. So let's say you've got Charizard and you're versing a Durant or something, right? In most cases, that Durant's going to outspeed you, hit you with a max lightning, maybe a max rock ball. But when you have Gengar on the field, who outspeeds Durant by I think 2 points, it's really cool to get that Icy Wind off onto Durant, and then you hit it with the G-Max Fire, kills it, and then you're in a really good position because you've got rid of that Dynamax Pokemon. So that's one way Gengar has really good speed control. It's also a cool way to counter other people's Tailwind. So let's say you lead Gengar Talonflame and they lead Talonflame another Pokemon, right? Both Talonflames go for Tailwind, but you're spamming Icy Wind. Suddenly, the opponent doesn't have Tailwind on those Pokemon until they switch or until they die, basically. So it's just a really cool way to stall out a Tailwind as well and make it irrelevant. So let's say Talonflame, Dracozolt, and then you have Talonflame Gengar, and then you have something that maybe is a bit slower than Dracozolt, like Primarina. You hit an Icy Wind off onto it, maybe they kill your Gengar, maybe they kill your Talonflame. You both have Tailwind up, but now you can bring out your Prim, outspeed Dracozolt now thanks to the Icy Wind damage, and also Icy Wind next turn is going to go off before both Talonflame and Dracozolt. So you get 2 Icy Winds off, you can bring out your Prim, hit it with a Moonblast, like a max Starfall, kill it, and then be on your way. So that's one way Gengar has really good speed control, is just Icy Wind. It's very common at the moment as well with things like Alolan Persian, but I think it's a really cool move on Gengar because they can't use Fake Out that first turn, so even if they get Tailwind off, they Fake Out your Talonflame, you still get that Icy Wind and start lowering that speed. And if they don't have Tailwind, it's just a good way to make sure that if you're using slower mons, those slower mons will hit first. Such as I think an example was I was using Dracozolt, and I had something that was faster. I think it was Tailwind Prim, and I hit the Icy Wind. I ended up being faster, hit the max lightning, and killed. So it's just things like that that make things a little bit easier for you. And then we have its other form of speed control, which is the Imprison. So Gengar actually learns Trick Room and Imprison, which if you don't know what Imprison does, as long as that Pokemon is on the field, if you share the same move as the other Pokemon, that move cannot be used. So let's say they start like Dusclops Amoonguss, then they're gonna try and Rage Powder Trick Room. You can just hit Imprison and they can't Trick Room now, and it's a really helpful tool to stop Trick Room, especially if you're looking to lower speed and boost up your own speed. It's just a very counterintuitive if they have Trick Room. So that's another form of speed control. You could also just go for your own Trick Room if your team's a bit slower and you just think it's more reliable to get your own Trick Room off, and maybe counter Tailwinds that way. So that's just a trick, like a little trick to get more speed control with your Gengar. Now let's quickly talk about items. The main item that you're going to be running on Gengar is definitely that Focus Sash. This just allows Gengar to stay on the field a little bit more, as it is very fragile. It's going to be getting one-shot by a lot of things. Like a main thing that will get one-shot by is like Dark Urshifu with Wicked Strike. That will bring you down to your Sash straight away, but it still gives you the potential to get either 2 Icy Winds up or have another turn on the field where you're stopping Trick Room from going up. So Focus Sash, if able, definitely a must on Gengar. If you need that Focus Sash somewhere else, maybe something like a Life Orb would be pretty good. It's probably about it, I would say. Yeah, probably either Life Orb or Focus Sash, in my opinion. There's not too many items you can go with Gengar, just because it's not really there to be too much of an offensive threat. It's more for a utility offensive pick. So I definitely would suggest the Focus Sash to make sure it gets those moves off, or just it stays a hindrance on the field. So let's quickly talk about movesets, because I've talked a lot about what moves make Gengar good, but I haven't really gone over, potential movesets. So the moveset that I'm running at the moment is Protect, Icy Wind, Shadow Ball, and Sludge Bomb. I honestly don't think that's very good. It's just good if you have other ways to stop Trick Room. In my case, I have Taunt, Safety Goggles, Talonflame, and in most cases, it's Amoonguss at the moment that's stopping Trick Room from going up. So you ignore the Rage Powder, get a Taunt off, and stop the Trick Room that way. But yeah, I think there's a lot better movesets to go for. My personal favorite that I've seen that I'm not using because I still think I have a good Trick Room answer is Sludge Bomb, Icy Wind, Imprison, Trick Room. So you forego the Shadow Ball, because Shadow Ball's not hitting a lot of Pokemon in this format for very super effective damage. The only things I can think of on top of my head are Dusclops and maybe like Dhelmise or something random like that. But again, like Sludge Bomb's just enough coverage and just enough damage that it doesn't matter. And Icy Wind, you need Icy Wind, I think, on Gengar to really make it that utility offensive pick instead of just an offensive pick. But I think Sludge Bomb's honestly enough cover. It hits Amoonguss for neutral, it hits Sylveon for super effective, it hits Lapras for neutral, it hits Arcanine for neutral, and is 10 more damage than Shadow Ball. So yeah, Sludge Bomb is fine. You don't actually need to run Dual Stab on Gengar. So if I was to recommend a set, it definitely would be just the Sludge Bomb, Icy Wind, Imprison, Trick Room. If you wanted to run more of an offensive set for your Gengar and don't want it to be pure utility, which I would recommend, it sounds a bit more fun. I kind of would like to see like a Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb, maybe Energy Ball, probably Dazzling Gleam actually, sorry. Yeah, so Sludge Bomb, Shadow Ball, Dazzling Gleam, maybe Protect or something like that. And that way you can actually deal with Urshifu Dark, which is a really huge problem for your team, like for Gengar. And you can deal with those like Dark types. There's not too many of them running around, but you can also deal with those Dragon types as well. So maybe something like that would be a better offensive pick. If you did want to run something like that, then that would be my suggestion. Anyway, guys, without further ado, let's get into what counters Gengar. Let's quickly go over some Pokemon that Gengar struggles a bit more against in the meta at the moment. The number one counter, in my opinion, you've heard me say it throughout the video, is Dark Urshifu. Urshifu Single Strike decimates Gengar. Both of its stabs are not very effective, so if you are running Sludge Bomb or Shadow Ball, it's not going to help you very much. It resists it, can take it pretty well, and then hit you back with the Wicked Blow, and then the next turn it can just use Sucker Punch. And in most cases, you're not going to have a way to protect yourself from that Sucker Punch. And you can't protect yourself with like a Protect if you have it either, because it goes through that Protect. So Dark Urshifu is definitely a really annoying Pokemon for Gengar. You can't hit it well, it just kind of kills you through your sash if it wants to. Just Wicked Blow, Sucker Punch next turn, or, you know, something like that. And yeah, Gengar can't really touch it. So I think Urshifu Single Strike is probably its #1 counter in my opinion. Other than that, I would say most things are a check. So Snarl Arcanine is more of a check than it is a counter, as it lowers Gengar's special attack, breaks the sash for free basically because you're hitting both Pokemon, so why not? And eventually it's just going to outlast Gengar. Like Sludge Bomb does a bunch of damage even at -1, and you are normally faster as well, but it's just a really annoying Pokemon to come up against, especially if you can't target it down that turn yet. But yeah, so it breaks the sash, lowers your special attack, leaves you vulnerable to get killed next turn by a partner Pokemon, or just makes it so you're doing less damage to that partner Pokemon. But definitely not a counter, as you can in most cases two-shot an Arcanine, I'm pretty sure. If it's not like Ogoof Berry or Citrus Berry, you can two-shot it. And yeah, so it's not a counter per se, but is more of a check. Another check I'd like to say is PZ. PZ can ignore the effects of Icy Wind by also lowering yours and your partner's speed. The only good thing about it is you can't get hit by Max Strike, but you do get hit by Max Darkness, which brings you down to your sash every time. And yeah, it's not a counter though, right? Because you can still hit PZ really hard with Sludge Bomb. You can counter his Max Strike with Icy Wind as well. You're kind of just checking each other in that point. You're both lowering each other's speed, and at which point it's going to be good for your Gengar, but bad for the rest of your team. Again, if you're running a bit of a slower team with Gengar, things that don't outspeed PZ, not getting that speed control against it can be very, very scary, because PZ just shoots out a Max Strike before you can attack, and it's pretty scary. And again, yeah, it can just leave you down to the Focus Sash, and then the partner Pokemon can pick you off, or, you know, the partner Pokemon just pick you off because you're pretty frail. The other reason why I think Gengar, like the PZ, is more of a check than a counter is because the most common like partner Pokemon you see with PZ is actually the Clefairy, and Sludge Bomb two-shots I think max special defense Clefairy as well. So if you're firing off a Sludge Bomb into Clef, then it's not going to stay on the field very long, and that gets rid of PZ's extra bulk. Granted, it still takes you 2 turns to get rid of it, so you're still going to get like hit by 2 max strikes, which is very scary, but they kind of check each other in a way, in my opinion. So yeah, being that ghost type doesn't make it immune to Porygon shenanigans. In conclusion guys, Gengar has an amazing typing that has benefited from the ban list immensely. It has a great combination of utility and offense. It can deal out massive damage with Sludge Bomb, but can also gain you speed control with Icy Wind or Imprison. And yeah, to end it off, Gengar is just the perfect balance of utility on offense. And yeah, it deals with a lot of common mons in the meta, such as Amoonguss pretty decently, Sylveon pretty decently, Primarina, Comfey, Serena, things like that. Things that are getting hit by Grimmsnarl, getting hit by that super effective Sludge Bomb, and then giving you that speed control over a lot of things in the meta, such as the 3 Musketeers, Durant, Dracovish in some cases as well. So it's a really cool offensive utility Pokemon, and definitely a Pokemon I think you guys should try out in Series 6, and it's definitely one of my favorite picks. And anyway, with that guys, I will end the video off here. Hit that like button if you did enjoy this video, subscribe for more if you want to see more. Leave a comment down in the comment section below if there's any other Pokemon you'd like me to talk about for Series 6 or even Series 5, as Players Cup 2 is around the corner, and that's going to be Series 5, which is, you know, another thing to talk about. But anyway guys, hope you did enjoy this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.